Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry for late. Welcome to the English news from Djibouti channels. They are the top stories of our edition tonight. The President of the Republic made the first official visit in Somalia. On continental news, the alleged perpetrators had a right to carry a weapon. That were our top stories, and welcome if you join us on his arrival at the airport, the international airport in Mogadishu. His official visit, the President of the Republic, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, arrived in Mogadishu, where at the invitation of his counterpart, Mr. Mohamed Abdullahi Formaggio, he makes an official visit for 48 hours. On his arrival at the Aden Abdullah International Airport in Mogadishu, the President of the Republic's Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh received an official reception where all the honors and insignia of protocol credit to a personality of his rank were executed. Of honor, red carpet and flower, everything has been deployed with meticulousness and professionalism. It should also be noted that the official reception extend to President Guelleh at Mogadishu Airport included a first meeting between the two heads of state at the VIP lounge. But the substantive issues and major objectives suspended during the current visit of the Djiboutian President to Mogadishu will be part of a series of other steps, including a face-to-face meeting between the two heads of state, to the Somali presidency, a working meeting of two leaders associated with their respective collaborators, and an address by the Djiboutian head of state to the Somali parliament meeting in the Congress. After the receptions, President Gilla and his Somali counterpart Mohamed Abdullahi Fumajo had a meeting at the Somali presidency. The discussion that were at the heart of this official meeting focused on ways and means to strengthen the exceptional friendship and cooperation relations that are the indelible fruit of the community of values, beliefs, culture, and language between the two people of both nations. An important delegation, including among other the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Mr. Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, the Minister of Defense in charge of relations with the Parliament, Mr. Ali Hassan Bahdon, the Minister of Muslims Affairs, Culture and Waqf Property, Mr. Mumin Hassan Barre, and the Secretary of State, Social Affairs, Mrs. Mumina Usman Aden, as well as a dozen Djiboutian parliamentarians accompany the President of the Republic as part of this trip to Mogadishu. Many senior civilian and military leaders, including the Chief of National Security, Mr. Hassan Saeed Khaire, as well as General Osman Noor Subagle, the Director of the Bilateral Department at the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Cooperation, Mr. Yasin Hussein Douale, as part of the delegation led by the head of state in Mogadishu, the capital of Somalia. We stay with the visit of the President. After their brief meeting, the two heads of state jointly held a large meeting discussed focus on issues of possible alternative arrangement for Somalia to help ensure that Somalia does not fall victim to a security deficit with the gradual withdrawal of AMISOM forces, Djibouti partner of Somalia in the training of defense and security executive to a leading role to play in the new support to be given to this brother country so that it's now guaranteed. But it's instructed means its own security and stability. Another aspect that the two leaders mentioned was the new development in the identifications already initiated of a strategic partnership between the two countries in the economic terms. Somalia, which is known for its wealth and important source, could maximize its revenue and export earnings by using modern infrastructure in Djibouti. It should be remembered that a large delegation, including among other the head of diplomacy, Mr. Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, the Minister of Defense, as well as parliamentarians, and the Minister of Muslims Affairs, the Waqf Culture and Goods, Mr. Mumin Hassan Barre, and the Secretary of State Socials, and a dozen Djiboutian parliamentarians were accompanied the President of the state during his 48th official visit. After that, the President of the Federal Republic of Somalia welcomed the head of state, His Excellency Ismail Omar Gili. In his address, he emphasized that this meeting testified to the fraternal and historical relationship that between the two brothers people. He said that our historical and unique relationship come first and foremost from our two people. It's important to strengthen our cooperation, especially in the field of trade and others. In my name and that of Somali people, I reiterate today that the Republic of Djibouti, we do not forget the esteem and recognitions that the Somali people bring to it. The Somali nation will never forget that Djibouti and its president have always worked to ensure that Somalia can recover its greatness and the well-being of its people. And I wish today that our cooperation, which touch all areas, can strengthen and can yield beneficial results of our two countries. For his part, the President of the Republic, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Gille, stressed in his speech that the Djiboutian and Somali people will like us to strengthen our relation and our cooperation. Our two people want at all costs that we are united side by side in all the challenges. And against the adversity, he will always say, the President of the Republic, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, we will always make sure to materialize this will of our people. We would like Somalia to be able to regain its greatness, strengthen its former power so that it can regain its place in the concert of the nations. We are ready to work for the realizations of the greatest integration and community of the nicest that our two populations aspire to. Our part is determined to act in the directions of achieving the greatest community of destiny to which our two people aspire. We are therefore willing to share all our joys, our sorrows with the sister nations of Somalia. I believe, say the President of the Republic, that the best way to achieve the goals of full integration and communion between our two nations is to extend our cooperation to all area and sector of activities.
waxaan jecelnahay in aan dadkeena tusno inaan u maqannahay. waxaan jecelnahay dadkeenu inuu dareemo ama uu garto in madaxdoodu ay yihiin dad u adeega ummadda inaan nahay, inuu dadkeenu dareemo ayaan doonaynaa.
The Prime Minister, Mr. Abdulqadir Kamil Mohammed, in Jakarta to represent the President of the Republic. A Cambridge Global Governance Award the Prime Minister has received on behalf of the head of state recipient this year, the prestigious trophy awarded by the committee of this institution. The two essential qualities of 3G Global Good Governance Award has been recognized by the head of state through his leadership, innovation in the areas of good governance, transparency, and sustainability. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, has created a positive impact in the world. Also through these recognitions, the Cambridge Institute wanted to praise the remarkable efforts of the Djibouti head of state, who has engaged the country in ambitious program.
Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, the President of the Republic of Djibouti.
The Prime Minister presented the sincere apology of the President of Republic who, for reason inherent to his busy agenda, he has not been able to make this trip so far to receive this award in person, the 3G Award 2019. The Prime Minister mentioned how the prize honor the head of state, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, and the government of Djibouti. Through my person, he said that the Prime Minister allow me to share the joy and pride in which our President has accepted these distinctions, and through me to express his thanks to the President of the 3G Award 2019, the Cambridge, the jury, as well as the jury members chosen for their academic profiles, but also from the finance and businesses, environment, and sustainable development, not to mention their expertise in the use of analytical tools. For the Ambassador Ahmed Raita, our country has made great progress in democratization, transparency, and preventions of corruption. And to remember that in 2019, the ranking obtained by Djibouti in the World Bank's World Businesses ranking with a progression of 55 ranks, an evaluation that brings together each year a jury composed and eminent personality from the businesses world. The Manfob continued its tour in the hinterland Obok in the day of Friday, where he went to the village of Fididis. The minister was accompanied by his colleague in charge of decentralizations, Mr. Mohammed Aramis, the UNICEF representative, Mrs. Janabo, and the regional deputies as well as the local authorities, namely Mr. Hassan Dabele and Mohammed Humed, respectively prefect and president of the region. The ministerial delegation has discussed with the local community to discussion the schooling of all their children of school age, the opportunity for the Minister of National Education and Vocational Training, Mr. Mustafa Mohammed Mahmoud, to highlight its policy to the policy of the head of state to establish a river school system. As part of its prosperity tour and development of the concept of an integrated rural school in the Obok hinterland, the Minister of the Manfob, Mr. Mustafa Mohammed Mahmoud, inaugurated the Sola Basic School. It's worth nothing that the locality of Ili Sola is one step ahead of the other sides. The brand new premises for the school have already been completed and ready to welcome the children as soon as possible. September 2019, this is the first step in a large program to provide local residents with a health facility, addictions to drink water, solar electrification development. As part of National Djiboutian Women's Week, the Minister of Women and Family, the UNFD, in Obok sensitizations workshop with human rights and violence against migrants and violence against migrant women. The purpose of the workshop is to reform the migrant community about the right and the dangers they may encounter during their journey. This community has also benefited from the distributions of substance and hygiene kits. On continental news, the author of the attack on Friday against the two mosques in New Zealand had a license to carry weapons. The main suspect of killing 49 people in the attack on two mosques in Christchurch had a small arsenal of semi-automatic weapons and was licensed, said the New Zealand Prime Minister, promising reforms. The attacker had a license to carry weapon occurred in November 2017, said Jashina at a press conference. I can guarantee you that our weapon law will change. Here we arrive at the end of this news edition. Thank you for watching us. Goodbye.